Hello. Hey. Hi, everybody. Social media family. As well as I say to any visitors to that being of my own social media channel and or chat room or comment section. How are y'all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. If not, better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. If not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. What I meant to say. Prince of Peace, continue to regulate my mind compared to how the Prince of Darkness attempts to confuse my speech. Or whatever I said. You know. May God continue to get the glory than the devil. And so I say, regardless of whether that or my person could possibly be speaking correct, proper, standard English grammar, being of the American dialect, or not. Okay. And, whatsoever that being of my person could possibly say, then I do hope that it could possibly become or be beneficial or a blessing to one and all, or more than quite a few, or one in many. Being that because that is what believers in God do. Try to, do God's work for that of some such a given moment in time, compared on to how, the religious charlatans or religious chameleons do some or such altogether different, as they themselves are not their brother's keeper, but rather instead are the total opposite, being that because they are working for the opposition, being some such other or another camp, being as they are the forces of dark, much rather than instead of being of the forces of light. Or in other words, as they are of the children of darkness than of the children of light. Meaning that because if they were among us, really among us, then they would have never left us. And the devil and his demons come forth as not only roaring lions, but then likewise angels of light. Disregard what you're hearing in the background as some of us given on time, not so much as that being of a television or radio broadcast or electronic frequency transmission, but rather I was making reference to any of the likes of the proverbial neighbors from damn hell of the dime a dozen public problem neighbors. As the devil is extremely busy, that much more with his demons or the evil one and his minions. The Prince of Darkness, that much more than ever before. And because they know that, likewise as well as anybody else, or possibly that much more than us humans, that much I do know, it's not more than the angels. Otherwise, because they knew more than them, then they could have possibly successfully, taken over the kingdom of heaven and dethrone God, you know, then they had to have been kicked out, you know, and then thrown down to the planet Earth to make conquest of this world. And whereas for a time they did have it with unlimited access before their rights and privileges to have an overall say over the world's conditions, etc., were revoked being that because of the blood sacrifice of our Lord and Savior the Christ, Messiah Deliverer. You know. Anyway, though, that just gets me to thinking about what the present social media broadcast or video is all about, as it's dealing with or regarding or making reference to the likes of those being who permit themselves to be used by the devil. And as you all could possibly notice or witness, how to say it, the name title up above for this particular social media broadcast or video as we have it here, you know. And as it gets me reflecting on something that I had become subject to experiencing most recently when I had become a patronizing customer of a place of business, but then I mentioned some of such in the footnotes as well to the side with this particular present social media broadcast or video. And whereas a proprietor owner of some of such, one of these dime a dozen storefront fast food places, being in which be competing with the much larger restaurants or the much more established places of business of that nature. And whereas I had been, excuse me, patronizing this particular one as a customer for years, as well as I have paid quite regular visits to its business competitor across the street. Not that this is what I meant to talk about, but it complements what I'm like trying to say in regard or reference to the prosperity preachers of false brethren, false prophets, and antichrist. And as that is what the majority of most televangelists, being whatsoever, whatever religious denominations are, just that, as I have said and stated for the record, being of whom are only into it or in it for the money. They could care less about, any members or visitors to their many different churches as they would attempt to, you know, make other sponges to their religious pyramid schemes or scams to soak up all that religious hype that they dish out of man-made religious nonsense so that they could possibly have more than quite a few drink their own many different versions of the Jonestown Kool-Aid mix punch, with the sole reason or purpose being, for reasons and on purposes being of which is to drain bank accounts, as well as they want to rip off other person's money from their wallets and their purses, so that they could possibly from there get a bigger mansion, more luxury automobiles, more luxury jets, more luxury yachts, etc. But anyway, though, as I think of it with that in my mind's attention to try to backtrack here with no purpose of this being, so I can go into following to continue from where and when that my person had last left off, so I can finish up as a complete a form previous prior line of thought, and that saints word before I were to get back with the original subject matter, topic of discussion to be debated or given argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof the same, the same question of the form previous prior mentioned. And whereas I had patronized this one particular place of business for that or some of such a given moment in time, and I felt disrespected. Why? Because I was literally or actually disrespected by the proprietor or owner of this one place of business, being one of these nickel and dime storefront fast food places for that of some of such a given moment in time, you know, whereas it was unnecessary for the male that owns some of such, or likewise, the likes of, you know, his co-owner, oh, excuse me, about that, to have sided with him more or less. I mean, though he didn't speak to me like his co-owner, but but then regardless, seeing how he didn't speak up when he had witnessed the social injustice, so it's like he was just as much, an accomplice to the crime, disrespect that I had become subjected to experiencing. No, I was not falsely arrested, but I could have been for the one that did disrespect me, being both of the two of them. He was threatening to call the police. I know you all are wondering right about now, what exactly happened? What exactly were you supposedly doing? Or what did this other person supposedly falsely accuse you of? Or allege, or whatever I was saying. No, I was just counting out my change. I had a little change in my pocket. I wanted to place a fast food order for myself, but I had to see how much I had. So I put it on what you call a table opposite you know, how he was behind the counter where they cooked the food item products or substances, different varieties of assortment, like their business competitor across the street, for the same vicinity area, neighborhood community, or within close range for a given address location. And whereas he got the mouthing off with more words or less. No, 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 no. We don't do that in here. Like it's kind of foreigner, as he himself was. And I've been, like I said before, so I say again, and likewise, state for the record, I've been going there for years, as well as the place of business being their business competitors across the street. Only get so much disrespect, and to compliment the old saying, phrase, or cliche that familiarity breeds contempt. You know, and although this is not what I want to talk about, I'm gonna get back with the original topic of discussion, subject matter, give an argument, to be debated with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and represented thereof. For that are the same as said in question of the former previous prior mentioned, and the compliment that being, the name title for this particular, present social media broadcast or video as we have it. But anyway, though, getting back to something. So he was saying in more words or less. So I paraphrase, not quote exactly. No, 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 no. We don't do this here. We don't do that here. We don't do this kind of stuff. No, no, get out of my place of business with that. I'm like, what? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I have been doing business with you all for years, and this is how you're going to treat me, assuming that I'm a character, like I'm in here, like I just been out there on the streets copping from some or such. Everybody like some kind of beggar, No, like say for those kind of persons, I wouldn't so much as call them characters. I mean, just because somebody may be holding a cup and be begging for change, don't necessarily mean that, that's all one's legacy to life is. I mean, one could have been, you know, subjected to experiencing some or such unforeseen circumstances to cause one to do that, or to possibly become homeless for that matter. Not that any and every homeless person is that, being that that is of that status, because they want to be. This guy would ignore any interruptions in the background, as you heard. Just one of these neighbors once again carrying on other lights. You know, the total opposite of Mr. Rogers' theme song number. For his children's educational television show. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I always wanted to have a neighbor just like it, but then getting back to some of such stuff. So he was like barking at me like some kind of mad dog with rabies. Yeah, well, been mouthing off to me like some drunk or alcoholic, or worse yet, like some hype or drug addict, and one that's not seeking recovery for sobriety. Again, I myself am not only in recovery for, that of having lived my life in the bottle, but then worse yet, the pipe. Yes, I'm not only a recovering chronic alcoholic, but I'm a recovering reefer addict, for that particular drug addict, or I'm a recovering drunk as well as recovering hype, but a recovering reefer addict. Anyway, though, getting back to something, so he's like mouthing off. We don't do that kind of stuff in here. We don't do that here. Take that outside. Take that out into the streets. All right, I'm calling the police. I'm calling the cops. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, man? I've been coming here for years, Why are you disrespecting me like that? Why are you barking at me like some kind of mad dog foaming at the mouth? Gone off at the mouth like that, like lost your marbles or something. I didn't come here for all that. I come in here to place an order. I come here to make a purchase of order only after I would have placed one, No, you get out of here. You get out of here. Like I wasn't speaking English in American dialect, like, yeah, like I'm speaking a foreign language. You get out of here. So peeps and folks, go to the different places of businesses, whereas your patronage is appreciated. Because if it was not for the customers, a business owner would not have a place of business. He or she would have to close shop or apply for bankruptcy. Understand what I'm saying? But then I mentioned the same within the footnotes. I don't know. It's like similar to a case or situation of when you yourself are with a lover or sexual partner, or put it mildly, bedside companion or bed bunk buddy, be one your spouse, or even so just a girlfriend or a boyfriend, depending on whichever both the two genders you are, or what is your sexual orientation, or what you consider to be your lifestyle preference, But anyway, though, which you know, after being with the same mate for quite a while, unless you really have something much more of feelings for that other person than just sexual feelings of lust, So then as in wanting to establish a monogamous relationship with one, if it's not already of a social environment of that nature. After a while, you want to try out a new partner, a new bedside companion, a new bed buddy. I know you all are probably wondering right about now, could probably be wondering, or will probably be wondering that much more than be said and stated for the record. Where I'm going with this for the last mention. It can't compare on to what I had become subject to experiencing in this fast food place. To be disrespected like that. To have this here you know, guy or fella to mouth off to me like that, which was unnecessary or uncalled for, and to compliment the old saying, phrase, or cliche, familiarity breeds contempt. I mean, you can't really like complain about having, one of his regulars or one of the same customers come to his place of business to transact business of that nature once again. And he just lost his mind and assuming things, put me into the category of or classify me as a character being which he did until he had seen otherwise, because I just left and said, no, I don't need this. It ain't that serious, I was surprised. And whereas if I were to pay this place a visit, this place of visit, sorry about that. Press P continue regular my Mac computer out. Press start attempt to complete my speech. And be it of a neighbor from damn health influence or whoever, whatever. But I bet you, I do believe if I were to pay a visit to that place of business sometime soon again, but I meant to say before I was so rudely interrupted by the neighbor from damn health. I bet you, I do believe he could probably would probably want to apologize, or if not, he'd be silent next time, because that was unnecessary, uncalled for. So that's what happened to me for the atmosphere of a place of business, or this premise of property. But anyway, moving right along, and to get back to the original subject matter or issue to address, or topic of discussion to be debated or given an argument, being an original one with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing some such